everybody, I'm Sherry Smeraglia and this is Carol Tuberville, and we have little Shania here today. She's an English Golden Retriever, and I wanted to bring her out for you all to see, and I'm also going to bring out a beautiful big boy Golden Retriever in a little bit. His name is Davide, but he's such the man, he just was having a fit. He's so in love with Shania, so I kind of had to bring them out one at a time. But we're here today because we want to talk to you about the program that we have here at Smeraglia, our breeding program. I know that you all hear that we are teddy bear Goldendoodles, but a lot of people want to know what makes Smeraglia different. Here at Smeraglia, what's the difference between your Goldendoodles and different, other people's Goldendoodles? And so we want to answer that question here today. One of the things, the most important thing that you need to know about Smeraglia Goldendoodles is that we only use the English Golden Retrievers in our breeding program. And there is a reason for that, because whenever I first began the breeding program, many years ago, whenever I first started raising and showing dogs, the Golden Retriever was my favorite dog of all. I mean, I was in love with this dog, and I loved everything about it. It was way before the internet. Whenever I learned about him, I did my research through books and magazines and things like that. And so when I imported my very first English Golden Retriever, I was sold. That was the perfect dog, in my opinion. And I loved them and raised them and showed them. And when my third son was born, my third child was born, he was severely allergic to dogs. And as you can see, they shed a lot. We have lots of hair on our black today. And one of the things about them, the negative thing was that they are not allergy friendly or hypoallergenic in any way.
Right, no.
And they shed buckets. But wow, what a dog. You've got to love their beautiful personality and their laid back temperament.
Come here, baby.
And we wanted to discuss some differences today with you about the English Golden Retriever versus the American, so that you can begin to learn, because this is our In the Know series, and we want to just educate our clients and our staff and anybody who wants to know what's going on and what's the difference. And so, Carol, whenever I know that you've shown many dogs and you've been in the dog world for years. She's shown them. She's been a trainer for, half your life, right?
Yeah, probably. Actually, most of my life.
Most of your life. And so you've come across a lot of dog breeds. So talk to us about the differences that you have observed from the English Golden Retriever to the American Golden Retriever.
So all of this starts with, we first have to realize that the English Retriever is truly a different dog.
It's not an American Golden.
And it's truly, truly different. And when breeds first started, different regions and different breeders have a type. We have a Smeraglia type. And so what you've done over years for that Smeraglia type that we've been talking about is you select parents that meet what you're looking for, breed them together, and then over a series of years, for a dog, a generation is only 2 years. So when you're in the business for 20 years, you're talking 10 generations at that point that you can be into. Well, now suddenly you have a distinct line that looks very, very different than what others look like because of what your eye is looking for. It is a type. Well, with retrievers, English versus American, we have the same thing. In the United States, they were bred for a certain purpose. They were bred to do certain things.
The American Golden.
The American Golden.
They're more sport dogs.
Absolutely. And they're also bred for a different type of terrain than what the English were. So here in the United States, they were bred for leggier build, not quite as nice and plush a coat because it's too hot. It doesn't stay quite as cold. They also want more legs to get through.
It is a silkier coat. Ours is more of a thick, plush,
denser coat. Absolutely. Right. They also need more leg because the terrain in America, there's a lot of briars and limbs to leap over. Also the color. This white color and this really light ultra cream color is going to stand out in the American woods.
It also gets disqualified in the show ring.
Absolutely, because that's what AKC is looking for, the American standard. And because the standard was established by the American Golden Retrievers organizations, it's based on what the needs are in America. Well, the English Retriever is based on more of what the needs are there. And so because it's a colder climate, because the terrain looks different, the brush looks different, the dogs were bred for a different type. Lower to the ground, they need to be more durable, and so you have a broader back, a little bit shorter legs.
And this is a female. The males are almost like a lion. They're way more broad and giant heads.
Distinctly masculine. The girls are distinctly feminine, where the boys are definitely masculine, but it was totally bred for a different type. Well, instead of 20 years, we're talking hundreds of years that this has gone on. So now when you have different regions with a different type, hundreds of years to kind of get away from each other on what's going on, it really is two distinct breeds now. Granted, they're both golden retrievers, but
and there are people that when they raise and breed Goldens, they'll breed an English Golden to an American, and they'll have half, and you'll see half English or half American.
Absolutely, and you'll see a blending of the traits. You'll get a little bit different color, you'll get a little bit different size and structure, but it's because of this long-term different type and different standard that's been bred for is why sometimes even if you do DNA testing on these import dogs, the DNA test companies use American bloodlines. And so you've got hundreds of years of different breeding going on. So it actually reflects differently even on a DNA test because of the different gene pools that they're using. But those different gene pools, here's some really good plus sides. We've talked about it a little bit before, but the American Retriever seems to have a stronger genetic predisposition towards all those cancers that we're seeing. The English Retriever doesn't seem to have it quite as much. Now, it doesn't mean that we won't see it, but the predisposition seems to be much, much lower.
There's a lot less cases.
Absolutely, and even on hip dysplasia, we're seeing less incidence in the English, that gene pool versus the American gene pool.
I do know that a lot of my friends that are English breeders are beginning just now to see more, but 10 years ago, it wasn't as bad, but it is increasing because they are becoming more popular, you know, and
well, and a lot of them are coming into the United States and crossing into those other gene pools too.
Now, I will say my English Golden Retrievers, and really English is kind of a word that that's what we call them, but it's really European now because they come from all over Europe, and all of ours are imported, so we don't use any bloodlines that are already within the United States. Because of that, I'm very selective on what dogs I bring into my program because I want to be very careful because they're starting to breed within the U.S. and it is changing the health screenings and things like that.
It is. It's also changing that look and that type that we're after and what we're looking for. And so when we talk about that type and what we're looking for with Smeraglia is we like a blockier and stockier dog.
I'm a head person, and you will see that I look at the eyes and the head, and there's a certain look that I'm after, especially because now that I'm breeding the Goldendoodles, I'm very particular because you have the standard poodle, which is the first cross, the first generation breeding that I ever did, and they're very lanky, they're long and lean and very narrow-headed, and so you don't get a big blocky-headed poodle, and so I really wanted to offset that poodle legginess. Now, they're beautiful, but my type is big, blocky, stocky, teddy bear looking. And so I could, I had to, they're a great combination when they balance each other.
Absolutely, and you know what, that's a great point because we keep talking about getting back to vision. Well, your heart initially was with retrievers. So that's what your eye goes to is that look. Other Golden Doodle breeders, they may have started with poodles and their eye may go towards that poodle look.
And I do, I have clients that'll come in and say, I want a real leggy, poodly looking doodle, and I'm like, you know what, I get that occasionally, but I don't breed for that. And one of the things that you're going to learn within the No series that we're doing is that I always go back to my vision. I always go back to my first love, what I'm looking for, the look and type, and that is why we are very consistent and why you can pretty much pick a Smeraglia Golden Doodle out of a crowd. We just have this look, and you're going to get other things that come out of that, but overall, for me to pick like this baby right here, this little F1 Golden Doodle puppy, he has got the most gorgeous, blocky, stocky head. Now, when you look at him, you think Golden Retriever puppy, English Golden puppy, really, you can think that. because when they're puppies, they do have that look. What I feel with my puppies is that as they get older, they, what we call doodle out. They start getting this big, fluffy teddy bear coat and they totally doodle out, but they keep, it's like they still have that structure of the English Golden Retriever. And that's what I'm breeding for, and a lot of other breeders have a look and type that they're breeding for. So at Smeraglia, we want to educate you and let you know there is a distinct difference between breeders and between English Golden Retrievers and American. So when you're calling, those are questions that you want to ask when you're making your decision about what Golden Doodle you want to bring into your family. Now, the other thing that I love about them is that they're known for their more mild, laid-back personality, and whereas the Americans are a little bit more, they have a lot more energy because they're bred to go and run and retrieve. And
they tend to be
lazy.
They tend to be a little more up. They tend to be a little more high-strung, and so they're great dogs. They just tend to be a little more high-strung.
But the cool thing is that even though, like, I can bring Dobby Day in here, and you're going to say, "Oh, he's real happy, and he sees his girlfriend and all that, and he's real excited," but it doesn't last long. They just kind of zonk out. And it was funny whenever my male dogs, so my Goldens, if they start barking in the middle of the night, my husband would get up. Because he would say, they don't bark, they're lazy.
Yeah.
But now the poodle side of the family, they like to bark.
They do.
And so that doesn't make a Golden Doodle barky, it just makes them want to bark when somebody comes in the house.
Mm-hmm. No, it does.
Look at this baby, he's just honking out.
Well, and what's really cool while you have him, and we can talk about just a minute, is the type that we're looking for and what the differences are is this is not a leggy dog. You see, proportionally, we're going to get about, 8 to 10 in a female, 9 to 10 in a male, where they're not leggy. Their body length is a little bit more than what their leg length is. They're very blocky. Their feet tend to fall directly under their shoulders, where you have that nice square look rather than like a triangle, an inverted triangle kind of look. We're gonna have this prominent stop that makes a defined forehead. We're gonna have well-defined cheeks under the eyes. And what's cool is, as I'm describing all these traits of what we see in this English Retriever, this puppy has the same traits. We have this same leg length to body length. We have that same foot fall in the front to get that nice square look. We have that well-defined stop and good fill underneath the cheeks.
And when we say stop, I'm real big on this stop. I love to be able to take my thumb, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but see, it's not like a ski slope that goes straight down. There's actually a stop that goes straight up. And that's what I look for when I'm picking a puppy. I look at the stop, I look at the coat, I look at for Golden Doodles, I look at the curls on their ears and the little S's on their legs. And I can actually tell that they're gonna have a very nice coat,
Well, and some of the things too with the English Retriever versus the American is it's not just about the stop too. I love that point that you made about how this stops. With the American, it's more of just a continual, it's just like one straight line. It's not a line and then a lump. But the other thing is this ear length. Sometimes with the Americans, you get an ear that falls lower than the chin versus stopping at mid-cheek or just at the chin. And that's what gives that defined blocky head. If you get too long an ear or too long a muzzle or no defined stop, that gives us that snipey and narrow face.
And there are American Golden breeders that like the same look that I have. And they go after that and they breed for that, and they've actually developed that look. So I have seen that, so if you've seen that too, but they like the same things and they breed for
that. And that's where we talk about like your lineage. It took 20 years to be able to get a lot of what you've got. Other breeders do that with Americans, where they'll take 20 years to breed for those characteristics and to get their own line. But one of the reasons we like the English is because in a first generation, those traits are hardwired. That's hardwired in their genetics. It's part of their breed standard. It's what they have. So we don't get that throwback of a snipey nose typically in an F1. We're just not gonna see that as a rule.
So let's talk about generations now. There will be another segment that we're going to be doing, and we're going to go into generations, and we're actually going to get a board out, and we're going to write on the board, and we're going to show you and actually quiz you, ask you to take a test. No, I'm kidding, we're not going to do that. But It's gonna kind of be like that. And here's the thing, first generation, okay? It is, I could take a golden retriever girl and I could breed her to a standard poodle boy, but with girls, she can actually be bred to a miniature poodle boy or a smaller, a toy boy.
Absolutely.
Because you can actually artificially breed that, and that's how we downsize and get our F1s, okay? But for the male golden retrievers, like Dobby Day, whom you're gonna meet in just a moment, he can only breed to a standard golden retriever. That's because I'm sorry, a standard poodle, because he's a big boy, okay? And he can only breed to a girl. That we would never want to put one of our female poodles in a situation where she would not be able to carry the puppies or be put in a situation where she would have a section or something if we could avoid that. So anyway, we've got a poodle here. Tell us about this, Karis.
This is actually a girl poodle because she was right there, but you can visualize a boy is bigger. We're gonna bring Davy Day in. You absolutely could not breed a boy of this size or bigger to a girl like this.
That's what I was trying to say. Right.
We just can't do that.
Visual.
It does give us that nice visual where we can't really do that. But we could absolutely take a boy this size, smaller or bigger, and go to her and get any size in the F1 generation.
And that's where all of our F1 miniature golden doodles came from. We bred them right here at Smeraglia. We took our girls, we took a poodle boy, small like this or smaller, and we got all of our F1s that way. And we always keep, just like this baby, that's exactly what he is. His father is Picasso, and he was a little smaller than her. And so we're keeping him because now I have an F1 golden doodle boy that's gonna be in the 30-pound range. Yeah, he'll be about 30. And so he can now go smaller and he can actually breed down. And that's what you guys need to understand. It's a lot of work.
Absolutely. A lot of science behind it.
A lot of science behind it. And you guys need to know that, you know, for us that have been here since the very beginning of English Golden Doodles, you know, we started the English Golden Doodle. I actually bred the first litter right here at Smeraglia on this farm. And so we have watched this, like you said, we've seen all these generations.
We have.
Many generations. And so we have watched the development, and we've seen what we loved, we've seen what we didn't love, and we have just continued to pull the best and the best and the best and then take it back. So today's segment is about F1 English Golden Doodles, and it all begins with this heart right here of these golden retrievers. I know that we've taken a little longer, but I do want you to take Karis back and bring in Dobby Day, and I'm going to let her take out Shania because he loves her so much, so he'd be kissing her too much, and so we will let him come out. And I do want you to see before we end this segment a bigger, blockier male, and this baby needs it now. He's just exalted. But see how laid back he is, sweet and calm. This is what I love, and this is my classic. And when you hear our girls talk to you about the classic English Golden Retriever, this is it. It's classic. Whether it is a miniature or whether it is a standard, this is the classic look. This is what I'm always going to be, have. This is what I'm always going to try to produce, this exact look. Now, whenever we have the F1 Golden Doodles, we can add some color. With the F1s, like when he gets older, he can actually go to a red poodle, or he can go to a black and white poodle girl, or he can, or a chocolate. And that's where you get the F1Bs, okay? And the main thing that we breed here are F1s and F1Bs, because remember, our mission is to always get close to our original vision, which is to produce dogs with hybrid vigor, which I talked about in an earlier segment, dogs that are allergy friendly, low to non-shedding, and I can get that in my F1s, but not everybody can tolerate an F1 because they are still 50% golden retriever. This is Dobby Day. He is absolutely gorgeous.
Come on, Dobby Day.
He is a hugging, loving machine, okay?
Come here, man.
And see, he hugs, he loves. He actually almost took Meredith down just by hugging her down. He hugged her almost right down on the ground because he just loves everybody. And as you can see though, look at this beautiful structure.
Good boy. I know you're tall enough to reach those trees. Come on.
Yeah. You see?
You see that baby?
So I wanted you to see him.
He's a good boy. Look, you ready?
You love those toys.
We love it. We let him hug. We do.
That's a big man.
Because that's what he loves. So anyway, what we're talking about, remember today, F1 English Golden Retrievers. All right, you can take him back now.
Thank you.
I wanted them to see him and just kind of see the size difference. The head, the broad shoulders. But he's so excited.
I know because we had girls in here.
You have them on you. So, but what you want to understand about our English Goldens is that they are unique, they are different, and then mine are even more unique because I have a special bloodline that I only use for my breeding program. And so that's the English Golden Retrievers that make our beautiful, beautiful F1 and F1, really F1 Goldendoodles. Meredith is there. Come over here. I want you to talk a minute because Meredith is the manager here, and she does all the photography. And so I'm going to let you just kind of close it here and talk to them just your heart about F1 Goldendoodles in English.
Well, I think everything that you've been talking about so far, the F1 and all the science behind it, the product is evidence of everything that you've done, everything you put into it, but this is perfection. I mean, this is so beautiful. It just doesn't get any better. If you're looking for an English teddy bear Goldendoodle, this is the standard. I mean, look at this face. I've been watching this baby. You know, I've been over there watching, and the whole time I'm like, I just want to hold this baby. I want to hold this puppy because they are absolutely perfect. Your look, your vision, your heart. This is the whole package
And
right
most
here.
people can tolerate an F1 English Golden Doodle because like my son that was allergic can tolerate an F1. But if you can't, then we go back to the F1B. And then once we have F1s and F1Bs, well, we have realized that they're also, if we pick them and we have them here, we have identified certain genetics that we love. And we can take an F1 and an F1B and bring it together. And that's what we call our F2Bs. And so we've learned from our lines. Yeah, you got one?
I got one.
Okay, so we've learned from our lines what produces this look. This look, even though it's an F1, I can get this in an F1B.
Yeah.
I can get this in an
Yeah, the
F2B.
look is consistent among all of your generations, which I think is unique to Smeraglia.
Yes.
Because a lot of times you can definitely tell when you're looking at an F2B or an F3 or whatever, but you produce this look throughout all of the generations. And one point you made earlier I want to touch on, people who do have allergies, if they are not severe allergies, it is a high likelihood that you can have an F1.
Yes.
That you will not react. Now, if you do have severe, of course, F1B with more of the poodle factor in it will be more beneficial. But I think it's very cool that even a lot of times we've had so many clients who said, oh, we've never been able to have a dog in our family, we can't do this because we have allergies. They don't realize that even the F1 might be allergy friendly enough for you guys to have, let me scoot over here,
Yeah, go ahead.
room for cuteness, room for more puppies in your home.
So this is the F2B, like what you were
Yes.
talking about, an F1 bred back
There we
to
go.
an F1B bred to an F1, and we get an F2B.
So bring them up.
Perfect example of you get the classic look throughout each
Now
generation.
this is an older puppy, so it's got more coat. He'll get more coat, but consistency. Loose, wavy, nice.
5
soft.
weeks, 9 weeks.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna look like this in about 4 more weeks.
what's up?
We're perfect. Hi, find me a friend.
But absolutely, that same defined stop, that same fill under the eyes, all that cheek, square body, same proportions, same basic classic look that we're looking for. And this one's in F2B.
So, when you call our office and you speak to one of the girls in the front, or you speak to Jared, what you're gonna find out what they're going to find out is what you are needing, what you're looking for, what your specific needs are. If you have severe dog allergies and need an EpiPen, I mean, we're going to go F1B and we're going to stick right there. We're not going to take a chance. We do have t-shirt tests that you can actually do, and you can call in and find out more about that. We'll talk about it later. But I know we took a little extra time today, but we just felt like this is foundation here. This is English Goldendoodles 101, right?
Yes.
So you got to get this so that you can know this is where we springboard from. And I hope you enjoyed this segment today. We are here. If you have any questions, you can email them in. You can post comments. Please subscribe to our page, our YouTube page. Also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can see all of the new In the Know series that we're going to be doing. Okay, guys?